Welcome to our June monthly video. So far this year, we've been hit with a pandemic that has put all of our health at risk and caused severe financial pain for many in our community. Because of a loss in general fund revenue, the county budget has been reduced, which impacts the services we provide. And then in May, we witnessed the tragic death of George Floyd due to the criminal acts of Minneapolis police officers. His death has led to protests calling for reform in our criminal justice system and an end to racism in policing. The protests in our community have been largely peaceful. Thousands of people have gathered in Portland, Gresham, Troutdale, and Wood Village to demand change in our criminal justice system and an end to racism and to state with moral clarity that Black Lives Matter. The relationship between the community and the police in many jurisdictions is fractured. It reinforces to me that community trust in the police is a perishable commodity, and it's something we have to work on every single day. In the areas where we provide policing services, our deputy sheriffs are respected and trusted members of the community. It doesn't mean we haven't made mistakes or have work to do in building trust with marginalized communities of color. When we make mistakes, it's important that we acknowledge them and hold ourselves accountable. Unfortunately, a small group of people engaged in rioting, arson, assaults, and other criminal acts have distracted from the rightful call for justice and reform in our systems. On May 29th, the Justice Center was attacked and the ground floor badly damaged. Since then, we continue to experience criminal behavior almost nightly in the parks and streets in the surrounding area. I want to commend the deputy sheriffs, corrections deputies, facility security officers, and command staff who have provided enhanced security during these events. Their courageous work protecting the adults in custody and the staff who provide rehabilitative services has allowed us to maintain operations at the Justice Center. As I said earlier, community trust is something we work on continually. On June 2nd, I met virtually with members of Word is Bond, an organization dedicated to creating a positive relationship between young Black males and law enforcement through leadership development, critical dialogue, and education. We had an open and honest conversation about policing in Multnomah County and our partnership in their summer program. I want to thank Deputy Christopher Gay for his willingness to participate in this unique program. Later that same week, and again 2 weeks later, I marched with a group called Gresham Stand Up. The young Black leaders who organized these events in Troutdale and Wood Village asked MCSO to assist and march with them. I was honored to participate and grateful to witness our community coming together to support Black Lives Matter. I know this has been a difficult time for everyone in our agency. I can only imagine the additional challenges for members of the BIPOC community who serve in law enforcement. We interviewed MCSO Captain Derek Peterson, the Northwest Chapter President of the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, to better understand these challenges.
Well, the last listening session, it would be the first one we had, really bore out some of the issues that our folks, people of color, are having in a situation given the things that are happening in our country today. We're trying to hold things in balance, whether it's being a part of the community but yet not part of the community, walking that tightrope where folks in our community relate to us in some ways, but we've been called sellouts and Uncle Toms and things like that, being very, very blunt about that. So it's been very difficult for us to walk that line, whereas you're a professional in an organization, guided by laws, guided by directions of the sheriff or whatever department you're in, and trying to keep that in tension is very difficult, and you find yourself wondering who you are, where you're at. Are you making the impact that you thought you were making when you first came into the organization or into law enforcement? So it's very difficult, and so you start to question yourself at this particular time when you have issues that are mounting within the country that are polarizing between black and whites. Well, one of the things we were looking at is making sure that we're embracing 21st century policing, but also doing small listening sessions. And I think it's important that we can't forget our allies, that it's not just black and brown people, it's everyone on board with this. We have lots of allies within the community, white, black, green, purple, yellow, whatever you want to call it. I try and stay out of the color business. Everyone is invited to that, especially this next meeting coming up, so that we can start to formulate some good plans, listening, not just listening, but also getting a chance to build friendships and knock down some of those walls that are up.
During these tumultuous times, our communications team has received letters and emails of support and encouragement for the positive work we do protecting and serving our community. We received letters in the mail from kids and faith groups showing how much they care for you. One of our members was even invited to join a few kids drawing chalk pictures on the sidewalk in front of the Justice Center. We're still in a global pandemic, and the time for complete recovery is uncertain. In Multnomah County, businesses have begun to open up, and there is a sense of routine coming back into our lives. But that doesn't mean we're there yet. MCSO has been preparing changes to our COVID-19 protocols to support recommendations from our public health partners. While this is an encouraging step forward in recovering from the pandemic, we're also aware that each phase brings the potential for increased exposure in the community. In an effort to minimize the risk of exposure and ensure alignment with the Governor and County Chair's direction, please follow the updated face coverings guidance, which is linked in the description below. These guidelines are not a replacement for staying home while you're sick, observing physical distancing guidelines, or good hand hygiene. Please continue the good work you are all doing in keeping yourselves and those in our community safe from this outbreak. The Board of County Commissioners adopted the county's fiscal year 21 budget on June 23rd. The budget reflects the board's desire to fund additional human services and to evaluate the current public safety and justice system models. As a result, the adopted budget reduces MCSO's budget by $2.4 million. The specific changes to our budget are yet to be fully determined, but we will have a reduction of a jail dorm at Inverness Jail, a partial funding cut for the Corbett School Resource Deputy, and funding reductions that will be realized from freezing exempt employee salaries in fiscal year 21. The state budget cuts also impacted the county's adopted budget. For example, we experienced a significant Senate Bill 1145 reduction. We'll continue working with our partner agencies, the legislature, and the Board of County Commissioners to identify new sources of funding and opportunities to enhance our operations and to ensure that we are meeting the needs of the communities we serve. Over the last 2 months, we welcomed several new hires to the Sheriff's Office. We swore in a deputy sheriff, 9 corrections deputies, and 5 non-sworn staff. When you see our new members, please introduce yourself and welcome them to our agency. We also promoted 4 members to leadership roles. Join me in congratulating them and wishing them well as they step into their new assignment. In May and June, we've seen several retirements from the Sheriff's Office. I want to thank all the retirees for their dedication and service to MCSO and the citizens of Multnomah County. Your hard work and sacrifice have made MCSO an outstanding agency to work for. I wish you the very best that retirement will bring. In closing, I want to take a moment to thank each of you for your good work and encourage you in these challenging times. Our community needs us more than ever to embody the values MCSO is well known for: community trust, integrity, and compassion for the most vulnerable. We will always work towards continuous improvement and a commitment to exemplary service. Thank you for all you do. Stay safe out there.